I'm Desty, reporting for Swindon 105.5. I'm here with Mr. Zane Lowe. Zane, how are you?
Good, Ryan. How are you, man?
Yeah, jolly good, thanks, man. So Zane, what can people expect? I've seen you at the big weekend. Welcome back to Swindon.
Thanks,
what brought you back to the southwest?
It's just as simple as an offer. We took a look at the festival and what happened last year, and we liked how it looked, and got a bit of good feedback about it, and it was as simple as that.
I've seen you at the big weekend. And I've seen a few gigs that you've done, Zane, and you kind of take the CDJ to a new level. A lot of people big up kind of James Abelia and people like that. They class him as a Mr. Pioneer, but the way you use kind of the hot cues and the kind of stuff in your sets, man, it really brings it out. I think that's important for yourself.
I mean, it's nice of you to say for a start. Thanks. I mean, it's high praise. It's just something that I developed by using them, and I think any DJ will tell you, any musician, anyone will tell you that you try and form your own approach, your own style to what you do, so that it feels natural to you and it's unique to yourself, and I think, or yourselves. And I think for me, it wasn't something I really kind of thought too much about. It sort of stemmed from my appreciation of hip hop and rap music, and the fact that I knew I would kind of use the mic in a more interactive way, like the great hip hop DJs of the past, like more of a block party approach rather than a deep journey kind of house music approach. And the cue points just, I guess in a way subconsciously, and then I worked out a little bit later, I was just kind of trying to create sort of a Prodigy meets Bomb Squad, Public Enemy kind of approach to it. It was very dynamic. With the cue points give you a great dynamic. They mean that you can really drop, when you do a drop, it drops very hard. It gives you a lot of flexibility up and down the duration of the track, and it just meant that I could be very flexible with the music. And because I was playing so much different kind of stuff, I wasn't really playing one particular style, and you'll see tonight it covers the spectrum. It means I can make those transitions easier when I have more control.
You kind of take things to another level. Good to see, and the energy, man. You bring it in kind of shows that you do. And
thanks, man. I mean, it's not for everybody, but I think I've been there long enough now for the people who don't like that approach have found something else, and new people seem to be coming on board all the time, and I think that they probably appreciate the fact that we care about the music, and that comes across.
You kind of grew up with hip hop. You started a lot with hip hop. In your sets, you kind of bring an element into everything. You kind of bring that indie sound, a lot of instrumental stuff in. You even drop drum and bass.
Yep.
And is that something personally that you like?
Yeah. I only play what I like. I don't play music I don't like, and I don't really play to the crowd in that way. I mean, it's very rare that I'll play a record that it doesn't necessarily move me as much as the rest of my set. If I do, it's because I'm in trouble. And I need to get out. I need to get out of a pickle. I need to get the crowd on side. But it's luckily for me that's pretty rare. I sort of just formed my own approach to DJing around the music that I wanted to listen to, and then realized that as time went on and as tastes shifted and things became more bass driven and sub bass driven, that I needed to remix, re-edit, and do things to those records myself in order to keep them relevant. Otherwise, I would have been stuck with mastered copies of songs that didn't necessarily sound as good as they did 2 or 3 years before. So that kind of introduced me to the idea of fixing all the songs individually myself on whatever, my computer, making them unique to me, and then that became more of an artistic endeavor and less just about playing records. So the gigs now, the shows kind of feel like gigs because I'm playing effectively a lot of re-edits and a lot of things that are my own kind of. They could be minor little changes, or they could be major changes. It could be complete remixes, but it's good. I suppose in a way it's the one thing that sort of has stuck with me. Is the eclectic approach. That and the microphone are the two things that people seem to kind of sort of react to.
Yeah, I mean, you really get the hype up. You kind of bring the mic in as well when you're kind of playing. That's good to see.
Yeah.
I mean, it's busy.
Well, I mean, it's an interactive thing. I mean, and some of my favorite DJs are the ones that don't do that and who just settle into a groove and are able to control a crowd just by using, the more sort of historical approach of club DJing, like taking it right back to the Paradise, Larry Levan. The ability to be able to move people with just music is something I wish I had the ability to do, but I don't, so I have to yell at them.
You've got a busy lifestyle, you've got it all going on. Is there anywhere that you haven't played that you would love to play?
Yeah, I mean, always. There's lots of places. I haven't done, that much internationally because, like you say, I think there's a lot of other stuff going on between Radio 1 and, lots of, like, the website going now and lots of other things that keep me in London primarily, and most importantly, my family. And so international travel isn't so much on the agenda because it's flights and time differences don't work for me because I want to be at home as much as I can be. And so, I've made peace with that. But I still get to travel a bit. I've done gigs in parts of Europe, and I did Coachella in LA last year. That was a bit of a dream come true to play that, and that was a great show. And yeah, I mean, there is. I'd really like to you know, I'd like to be able to do a tour of New Zealand and Australia at some point and do what I do, you know, a good solid tour down there, so that it feels like I've kind of gone home and done what I've done. I did a couple of shows in New Zealand one year around the Christmas time, did a big day out and supported the Arctic Monkeys at one show in Auckland, and that was fun, but it'd be nice to sort of get into a tour for a week or two if I could, and just, you know, a big day out or some other festival, so that it felt like I'd gone home and was able to go home creatively as well as personally.
I mean, you mentioned home, kind of, is it more England now than it is
It's
New
not
Zealand?
either or really. I mean, New Zealand is where we're from, and it's where our families are, and so it's really important to myself and my family, because my wife is a New Zealander and our children have New Zealand passports, that we all get back, and as they get older, that time is precious. They want to see their grandkids and their cousins grow up, and we want to do the same with all our nephews and nieces and brothers and sisters, mums and dads. You know, it's really important. So we stay true to that, but at the same time, we definitely are settled here, and I've been here now 13 years, and I've lived in London or in England longer as an adult than I have, you know what I mean, in terms of like years of learning and developing as a person. Up to this point, I feel like I've had more experience out in London and this part of the world than I did when I was growing up as a kid in New Zealand. So yeah, I mean, we've got the balance right.
Looking into changing the passport to a British citizen then?
And we've thought about it, because we're eligible, but we have to take a test, and we're always just like, we should really study up and do the test, and it's like, well, we got residentiality, we'll just kick it for. But it's a drag, because our kids have British passports, so when we go through the airport, they always have to wait for mum and dad to go through the visitors thing, and as they get older, I'm sure they'll get frustrated with that, so we better get our act together, I think.
Pre-bog standard question, tuning in the box at the minute?
Yeah, there's loads. I'm really happy with my records at the moment, because I've got a lot of new stuff to play, you know. There's, you know, the tonight's set starts out pretty ravey, pretty 140 plus, and goes half-time in a dubstep, and then inevitably ends up sort of 135, and we work down to like 125, and at some point hopefully I'll get to D&B. I'm not really doing so much of the rock and the indie re-edits at the moment, just because it's good to have a little break from that, and I'm not giving up on that. I'll still bring a lot of those records back, because people come to see those records get played out still, because it's a bit unique, a bit different. But right now for me, it's good to be able to play things like, you know, the Swedes Are on Fire, anything that, you know, Axwell and Grosso, Angelo, Prids, anything that they're into, I'm all about, and they're great crowd reaction records, and I'm really into, you know, the sort of the development on from UK funky into more of a heavy hip hop approach, like the Vato Gonzalez, in that stuff. I mean, to be honest, my big record in my box is the same one that was played before, which will get rinsed again tonight. You know, Scratch Perverts had a crack at it as well, which is Congo rock. And Congo rock, to me, absolutely walking the line between hip hop and club. They have all that energy and that jump and that bounce that you get from a rap record, but it's done in such an aggressive club way. And I think sometimes it's a bit much for crowds. It's such a heavy sound. I think they don't know how to take it. So you can't give them too much, because they get a bit bludgeoned by it. But I mean, Babylon to me is a real benchmark moment for me in the set.
So what's next for you, Zane?
Just going to keep busy. I've got the DJ Hero 2 tour, which has just been announced. The first chunk of dates has just been announced for that, starting September 22nd in Leeds, and that's solid 20 dates before the end of the year. I want to big up DJ Hero 2 and Activision and all the crew out there for teaming up with us again for that. Really enjoy that. It's a great crew to roll with. And then I've got a pretty big arena tour in December, which hasn't been announced yet, so I can't say, but I'm going to be doing sort of main support for 4 out of 6 shows with a really big club artist and arenas around the UK, so that's going to be fun. And
any inklings?
Well, there's only probably about
Lips to seal.
There's like 5 people who could probably do it, so I'll let you work it out. But so that's something to look forward to, and you know, just working hard on Radio 1 to make that continually the best listen possible.
A question that I've asked everyone, Zane, and I'm going to ask you the same question. If you were invincible for a day, what would you do?
Just create a force field around my family and make sure that they're all protected for the rest of their lives, which I trust they will be, but if I could control that, I would.
Zane, it's been a pleasure talking to you today, mate. We're really looking forward to seeing what you kind of bring to the Invincible today. Thanks for your time.
Thanks for the chat, man. I enjoyed it.